This is the final day of the Paint Your Vacation Art Retreat, and we're finishing up with a little art reception. And because this was a retreat where we're going to paint our vacation, the first thing we did was made a sketchbook, and we used the Coptic stitch binding. And then we painted things around the location of the property. These were some roses from a rose bush. This was the scene out front with the tower, and there were these cute little hummingbird moths that were flying around these little carnations. And we did this together, showing how to do glass and flowers. There was a wedding here the weekend before, and they left all their flowers, so we had some beautiful art, beautiful subjects to study. We painted this, which was from Nikki's dinner. She had ordered, I think it was scallops, and they were served on a shell, and so we did a demo on painting the shell. We did some poppies together. Nicole filmed or took a photo at the botanical garden of poppies and a sky. And one student wanted to paint skies and one wanted to do poppies. So we combined them to create that montage. And we made some paint with some pigments we bought in Albi. And that was another, we went outside to do some plein air painting with part of the group. And we sat and painted this wall on the corner of one of the buildings. And then we did some studies this morning in preparation for a larger plein air painting. And so we did some clouds, and we also just did some quick little tree studies, basically to warm up so it wasn't too scary when we got our big paper out, because up until this time we'd been using the smaller paper. Now, we had another suggestion from Nicole to paint with wine, and there was like a tail end of a bottle left over from dinner, so we decided to use that instead of water. And we sketched on with a watercolor pencil, and then we just went in with a brush and wine and we spread things around. And we did this on a separate piece of paper so that it wouldn't transfer acid into our sketchbook. You never want to have anything acidic in your sketchbook, or it will eventually leach into your other stuff. That's why it's important to use acid-free paper, acid-free book boards, or buffer it with like a paper so that you're not getting acid onto your papers. And then this was the large plein air piece that we did this morning as kind of a way to, the weather was really good today too. We had a plan around the weather. And this was from the back parking lot looking over all the pastures and farmland in the area. Of course, people broke off into different areas, and I'm going to show you the beautiful artwork that the students created today. And they have plenty more pages in their sketchbook to fill up in their travels home, or around Europe, or just furthermore in their art adventures. Hi. This is Elaine, and she did quite a few paintings. This was her wine painting. And you sketched with a fountain pen, right?
I did, yes.
A fountain pen. And then spread it around with the wine. And because of the color ink she chose, she got almost like a fluorescent effect with the wine and the ink, which is really kind of fun. And here we have some studies done outdoors. Rather than doing one large plein air painting, she sectioned off her page into smaller cells so she could practice a bunch of skies, and then also do one of the scenes from the breakfast area. And then she did a flower bed, which is really pretty. And here you can see her version of the I think it's a peony flower in the vase. She did a wonderful job rendering the glass. And we'll peek through here. A beautiful orchid here. I think it's an orchid, not an iris, right? Those are orchids.
Lily, I'm not too sure.
Oh, might be. And I think we have different names for some of the flowers too. Yeah. And this beautiful scene from on the property here. And there's tiny little buildings from nearby villages you can see like across the fields. And I love just that hint of the building there, because we weren't close enough to these to really get a lot of detail. So it was a great way to depict that. And her poppy montage for the sky and the poppies. That's it. All right. Thank you so much, Elaine.
You're welcome.
And we have Jean. Hello.
Hello.
Oh, I'd love to have you flip through your sketchbook. Do you want to talk about it, or would you like me to?
I can flip through it, and I tend to go through different pages in the book because I didn't want any of it to be too precious to use. So rather than start with one page and go, I just flip around through the different pages. So
Wonderful.
I started here with this is a view from where we're staying to the little town in the distance. And then I went to doing some of our poppies.
Beautiful.
And then and I'm going to fill all of these in when I'm home.
Ooh, nice.
This was a winery that I went to on a little side tour.
Oh, nice.
And, so I took some pictures while I was there, and it's a little vineyard with little wine.
Oh, I love the perspective.
Future wine bottles right there. Here's my painting with using wine
Nice.
instead of using water, and that was Here is my lovely macaron that I had, and I had some flowers here left over, so I put them on a plate and made a little still life.
Beautiful.
And I think that's about all that I had in here. Yeah.
I love the idea of not making it too precious and like skipping around in the book.
It helped me get started. First page is always blank for me. I read a few and then go
Nice.
forward.
Is that the first time you made a sketchbook?
No, I actually made one for my sister's daughter once before.
Oh, nice. You did a great job
But
on it.
yes, it was similar binding too.
Oh, good. Well, thank you for sharing.
You're welcome. And I had a great time.
Oh, good. And here we have the lovely Kathy, who's going to share her work with us.
Hello. So this was my first time doing watercolors, and we did some flowers early on. There's one. There's
Oh.
one that the group did
Beautiful.
as well. And then
Oh,
a scene from the domain that we're staying at into the little town in the distance.
nice.
And this was a brick wall that I tried to recreate with some more color than was in the original one.
Beautiful.
The poppies that we all did as a group.
Mm-hmm.
And then my favorite is Booba, the cat who lives at the domain here, and he was very friendly, and I wanted to capture him. So that was probably my favorite. And then a psychedelic sunrise. That,
Oh, nice.
After I did this, Lindsay gave me some great advice on how to soften this and do different wet on wet sky, so it's not so stark and separated like that. And that's my wine painting.
Lovely.
I think that's all that's in here. And then today when we went outside and did the plein air, I did this landscape.
Beautiful. Now, this was your first time using watercolor.
Yes, and it's fun and far less intimidating than I thought. And I think the best advice Lindsay gave me was to not be afraid of making an ugly painting and not making it too precious. So that made it much less intimidating.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you for sharing, and your work is marvelous.
Thank you.
And here we have Mary Beth, who is going to share her artwork.
Bonjour. This has been so fun. So I just learned so much from Lindsay this week, and this is my sketchbook. So I'll just flip through kind of quick for you. There's the domain, and then isn't she so cute? We had to do some. This is how Lindsay greeted us in her beautiful French outfit, and it was fun and really trying to go for like sort of gestural, quick sketches in a way that you can be with watercolor. I don't know how quick it really was though. Ooh, the ladies there for you.
Now, was those done from the sculptures was it like behind a church, or where was that sculpture garden?
Photographs when we were at the garden.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they were sprinkled around the gardens there.
Oh, nice. In the botanical gardens or the one in
botanical
Albee?
gardens.
Oh, okay, cool. Nice.
So there's those, and then little clouds and the poppies that we did with Lindsay. I learned the most on this painting, and it was really great to have step-by-step tutorial with Lindsay on this one.
Oh, thank
so
you.
It was great.
Great
It's really-
job.
Thank you. I learned a tremendous amount. This was the last painting I did, and this was a little plein air of our beautiful landscape here, off of the view here. And these are a little sketches of Toulouse-Lautrec, the ladies, the mademoiselles that he so liked.
Oh, yes.
And here is some cloud studies and another landscape with more clouds. And I think that's it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Oh,
gonna share those?
And then the wine study.
Yes.
Which was very fun. And yes, this is a little pagoda or a pergola, I don't know how you call it. And did a little yoga there every day or a few times this week. So that was really a special place. So I tried to capture it, but
Nice.
plein air is tricky.
It's with the bright sun. It can be, and it just there's a lot to sort out when you're plein air painting, I think.
Yeah, it's been so fun. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, amazing group of women too.
What's that?
Amazing group of women.
Yes, I totally agree. And And here we have Teresa, and she is going to flip through her book while I narrate. And first we have the shell. This was from the shell demo, and then she worked on it on her own. And we have some cloud studies there. And then the poppy lesson where we did the montage of the sky painting and the poppies. And that's a scene from the domain here. There's like a fun tower up there that you can tour into. And this is kind of, if you're coming out of an art studio, you could walk up those stairs and go around in the front of the building. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful grounds. That was from the plein air day where we went and kind of sketched the rose vine that was growing up the side of the building. That turned out so pretty. And then we got some beautiful poppy sketches, very loose and fun. And I can really see people loosening up through the lessons in their sketchbooks too as the week went on. Oh, we got some, I think is that eucalyptus? Yeah, eucalyptus. It's been very quiet. Oh, and that turned out so lovely. That was the peony in the glass vase from earlier on in the week. And we got some more beautiful flowers here. I love her poppies. And then we've got the wine painting. I think that was kind of a hit with everyone because it was so freeing and fun to do. And we weren't worrying about it because it wasn't even in our sketchbook. We worked on a separate sheet of paper. And then we have cloud studies. And Teresa has such a lovely way with clouds. She has such a delicate touch. And she really manages to paint the clouds and not let it get fussy or overworked. And she knows just the right amount of paint to put in. And that comes with practice. So if you're feeling like you're not there yet, start practicing. Just practice day after day and you will get much more comfortable with it. Wouldn't you agree?
I think so, yes.
And this was your plein air sketch today, wasn't it? Very lovely. There are so many rolling hills. Actually, I'm wondering if I can even show you out the window there, past the pool there. There's just layer upon layer upon layer upon layer of farmland, hills and fields. And they were so fun and challenging to paint. And Teresa did a wonderful job with those there. Thank you for sharing your art with us. And now Christine is going to tell us all about the colorful artwork she has been making all week.
I have realized that I cannot paint like Lindsay, and after the first couple of group paintings, I had to paint over or trash mine. So here's the painting that everybody else did in the beginning of the poppy, and it's overworked, so I just dumped more paint on it.
It's beautiful.
And then here are my poppies.
So pretty.
Super finished, and then I just kind of went back to the botanicals that we saw at the garden, and I started just doing that. And that's pretty much what I did the rest of the time. Today, I learned how to do clouds from Teresa and Lindsay.
Nice.
And
You can see the combination of both of our
Yeah.
techniques and both of our, like, I charge in tons of color and she's
Exactly.
so delicate and she's like, I'm going to put just what I need
here's
in
our
there.
Lindsay pinks. And then I just started, again, just doing the botanicals. I think there's one more in here. Oh, I tried the poppy.
Nice.
Again, I think I overworked it. And so then I just went back. Here's my wine. And this is representative of all the wine that was had the first couple of nights, where I think there was a couple, 10, 11 bottles drank. And then there's our cheese plate.
Lovely.
It was stinky cheese.
Oh, wasn't that stuff crazy?
It was horrible.
We Americans are not used to that.
Oh, but everybody said it was good cheese, so. Here is, after we went to Albi and got all the new paints, I was just playing with all the granulation.
The texture there.
It's amazing underneath. And then I just was playing with the pastels. I'm not a pastel person, so I was just playing with it over. So again, just playing again with clouds. These are just plain. And then I started doing just loose flowers. And this one someone's taking home, and she forced me to line it with ink. So
Oh, it's so pretty.
thank you.
And I have a Christine original, so I am
You do. That came out of the garbage pile.
it didn't belong there. It was beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your work with
This
us.
is the best treat, the best trip ever, and everybody's been amazing.
Oh,
It's gonna be hard to go home.
Oh, thank you.
It is.
Up now is Nicole. Hello. And she's going to flip through while I narrate here. And we're going to start off with the Together project we all did, the beautiful glass vase with a gorgeous peony in it. And the colors just work so well. And I love the contrast of the purple and yellow there. She really went for the purple and the yellow, and they just glow in this painting. We've got poppies, and she used some ink tints filings from an Inktense pencil to get that really nice textured center there, and a lot of wet into wet, and you can see the capillary action of the paints going out to the petals. It just is so lovely. And this piece was so special because and I'm speaking for her, but she can shake her head no if I'm misspeaking, but she talked about how this was the first painting where she really felt like she was a painter. And I can agree more. I mean, I thought her work before was gorgeous too, but the confidence that I saw build in Nicole after this painting was just amazing. And those trees, look at them. Oh, and that shadow, come on, that's gorgeous. And this was our poppy lesson, and Nicole took the photos for both of these. She took both the poppy and the sky photo, so it was wonderful that she let us use those and put them together to create a new piece of artwork, and I love the dimension in those flowers. And we had gorgeous sunrises this morning. Actually, for several days this week, we had beautiful sunrises, and she managed to capture those beautiful sunrise colors and the colors and textures and shadows in the clouds in this it's almost an abstract landscape, but you can clearly see that it's a sun rising. But I love how it could also be designed and just stand on its own that way as well. And she also did the shell that we did a demo on during the class. And I love how everyone's personalities is a little bit different on every single painting. And here we have some cloud studies. And getting the shadows are really tricky in clouds. So being able to practice it a few times before we go and do our big painting is really helpful. So don't put so much pressure on yourself that you have to do it in a big painting. And it was actually Nicole's idea to do the wine painting. And not only did she use wine here, she used green tea in the background, mainly because someone said she couldn't do it. So of course she had to do it.
That's me.
And we wrapped up the week with a longer plein air session outdoors. And she did this from the back parking lot and really did a wonderful job depicting the almost patchwork type character of all of the farmland, all the little acreages of farmland that we could see out in the back. And I love the perspective on that fence. And because somebody said that she shouldn't use dirt on her painting, she sprinkled some dirt in her painting, and it actually turned out fantastic. Thank you for sharing. Hi, Julie.
Hello.
Have you been having fun this week?
I've had a fabulous time. It's been amazing.
Oh, thank you so much. We have really enjoyed having you here, and you're going to share your art with us today.
Yes. So this is the sketchbook that we made, and as soon as it was finished, I jumped right in painting just a quick sketch of some of the flowers that were left over from the wedding. I wanted to get a little bit of a warm-up, so I did this one.
So pretty.
And then here is the peony that we all did together.
Oh, I love how you filled the page. You stopped it right there at the edge.
Yeah, I love painting flowers, and in my compositions, I often have petals or leaves going off the page. I like the way that looks. And then this is probably my favorite that I did this week. This was a photograph from the first afternoon here when we took a little tour of the property.
So pretty.
And this is behind the buildings looking down into the valley, so that was fun.
I think we're all going to have a lot of photographs that we can paint from.
Oh my goodness, I have so many photos to paint. I will be painting photos from France for months.
That's a great thing.
Yes, it is, it is. Okay, and then I did a quick little sketch again of some poppies, just a little warm-up. I wanted
Lovely.
to see what I could do, just really loose and fast.
Did you do that same Inktense technique that Nicole did?
Yes. So I also used the Inktense with the nail file to
Awesome.
sprinkle in the middle to get that kind of pebbly effect that poppies have.
Yeah, it's a great way to get granulation if you don't own any of the super granulating paints and you want to
Yeah.
try the look out without buying anything new.
Definitely. And then here are my poppies.
Beautiful.
I feel like a lot of the paintings that I worked on here could use some more work, but then again, I don't know that I want to go back and change anything because they were so spontaneous in the moment. I don't want to lose that memory of doing them here, and feel like if I sit down at home to try to finish it up, that will kind of ruin the memory of being here all together and seeing things come alive and fresh on the paper.
Art makes us present for sure.
Yeah. And then we sat outside and did a little plein air, and this is a window in the back of the building. And I used the graphitin pencils.
Ooh.
to color in the bricks, and then just use a water brush with plain water just to kind of smudge everything out. So this was just a fun little sketch in the afternoon. And this is from a photograph that we took on one of our walks. And again, I feel this isn't quite complete, but I loved the reflection in the window. I thought that was so neat.
Yeah.
And the flowers in this place are remarkable. Roses everywhere, giant roses as big as dinner plates. They're really just incredible. And I love painting flowers, so I'm good for that.
Oh, yeah,
Okay,
perfect
and
for
then
that.
Here's my wine painting. And again, I used one of the Graphitin pencils to sketch and then filled it in with the wine.
Did you use the color port? I think there's a color port.
It might have been, yeah.
It
might
looks
have
like
been.
it.
Yeah. And then I really like these. These came out nice. These are my sky studies for our work today.
Yeah.
And as everyone has mentioned, the skies here have been just unbelievably colorful, and all the clouds and the shapes. It's just really been wonderful. And then here is my plein air sketch. And
Oh, wonderful. Can you hold it up
Yeah.
a little bit?
I wanted to keep it loose and not fussy, so I just went in with lots and lots and lots of green paint. So many different shades of green. So it was fun. The hills and the valleys here are just so pretty. So pretty.
Those greens go so well together. Do you have any tips on how you can create a variety of greens for a scene like this and still have them go together?
Yes. I stick to a limited palette, so I'll pick a couple of blues. For this one, it was the ultramarine and cerulean. And then I use those together and independently with mixing those with yellow. And I really like adding some burnt sienna to my greens. That kind of tones them down a little bit. I did use a little bit of sap green in those mixes for some variety, but I find that using two blues and sometimes mixing those two blues together plus a yellow can really make an interesting green.
Very good advice. Thank you for sharing your work with us.
You're welcome.
Nikki is here to share a couple of her sketches with us. She's been very prolific, but she's just going to share a couple.
Thank you. This is one of the first ones from one of the first couple of days. Just a study going up to our room of the stairs and the tower and the trees around there, along with the beautiful blue sky that we had. This is our wine study. Went over it with a brown Stabilo, I think it was, and then some of the wine. And so we've got the different purples there. When we went to the garden, the most beautiful garden I've ever been to, it was cool to do just a really, really quick, maybe 5 or 10 minute sketch with some sepia ink of a tree that we saw in the garden. So that was a lot of fun to do. And then in Albee, on the side of the River Tarn, just very quick while everybody's walking behind, did a quick sketch of the riverside there and the church and everything across the river.
How did you not get overwhelmed with so many details there?
Going very slowly and using pen so that I try not to do too much, and that's why I like the sepia pen. Because it allows you to get in and make nice marks without it being too overwhelming.
Well, wonderful.
And then my final one here from our last day, wanted to concentrate on the sky. This is the biggest painting I've ever done. So it started overwhelming, but I think I loved how the sky came out, and then I got to do some splatter here down at the bottom.
Oh, wonderful. What was your favorite one you did all week?
I would say this one. This is the favorite one I've done just because didn't think I'd be able to do a painting that large and actually finish it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's my favorite.
And you took a lot of photos, I noticed. You were always stopping for a photo.
Yeah, my favorite thing is to, I use the pictures I take to practice, and I use those for my references. So when I get home, now that I've got this as my base, I want to use them to get in a lot more practice.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Here we have Mary to share her Her artwork with us. Oh, it's been a long week. Take it away, Mary.
Well, I started out with a couple of the early paintings, and then we got to go outside and pick our own. So I chose the stairway. We would go up and down several times a day. This is a view from the studio on up to our residence, where we would go and eat and had our place to stay. And I wanted to add to it and added flowers and that kind of thing, and had a chance to practice perspective.
Oh, so pretty.
So that was a fun thing to do. I misunderstood the instruction, and so my poppies turned into tulips, sort of.
Hey, that works.
And I couldn't understand why I couldn't get them to look like yours. But I had fun with them anyway.
Oh, good. They're pretty.
And then at the gardens, it was quite an adventure. I kept hearing this peacock, and I just wanted to see the peacock, and all I ever saw or heard was a rooster. So I ended up painting the rooster instead of the peacock. And it was kind of fun to do that. And then this was another plein air adventure, and of sitting, and then it was different for me to use pen to go over the painting and kind of highlight it and give it accent. And that was fun. I thought it was kind of fun and cheery. To see
Yeah.
that. And then we went to a restaurant. That was very much of a treat when we went into Albee, and we watched Nikki get her scallops on shells. And she took one back, brought it back, and then Lindsay gave us a demo. And so we learned kind of how to paint something white, but use colors to paint it. So that's what the shell was about.
Beautiful.
And then I wanted to remember what my view was from my room.
Oh.
And so you can't get away from the really pretty view of the hills, the clouds, the sky. It's always there. And so I wanted to paint that, get that done.
Nice.
And the wine painting, of course, I had used a black watercolor pencil to create it, so my wine color kind of grayed down to kind of a grayish purple. But I thought that was a lot of fun.
Nice.
And then today was to do the bigger perspective drawing, and so this is sitting on the porch outside our dining room, and I called it kind of chunky because I used kind of a sketchy watercolor view or approach.
Yeah,
And it was a great time. Had a fabulous time. Could do anything you want, any approach you wanted to use and experiment. So it was really lots of fun. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. And you've got a lot going on in that. Did you get overwhelmed at all when you were out there painting that? Because, I mean, you got a lot of information in that painting.
I kept just watching the direction of the different fields and trees. It's a trick to do all the greens. I think that's the biggest thing a person might feel overwhelmed with. It's how to create that next step with a different green to show a difference.
Well, you have a good variety there, so I think you've really grown in that area this week.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for sharing your artwork.
Thanks, Lindsay.
Hi, Mary Jane. Would you like to share your artwork with us?
Yes, I would. So these two tiny paintings were actually done last week in a different part of Europe.
Oh.
These are from Budapest, and this was an island, and people walking their dogs and whatnot
Oh, wow.
on the little walkway. And then this was a building that I could see from the boat that I was on the land in Budapest. So those are my first two to share.
Oh, wonderful.
And then I want to start with this, because this was a big hot mess. And one of the things that I learned this week was about perspective. I've always had such a struggle with perspective. And so Lindsay helped me with this, and it turned out a lot better.
Nice.
Once I figured out which way everything was supposed to be going.
And I love all the exposed stone and stucco and details that are in these old buildings. So pretty.
From the 1600s, I think, this
Wow.
building was from. And there's my clematis that looks like a poinsettia.
It looks like a clematis.
But that was at the garden we visited one day. And here's my what you call it that look
Poppies?
like tulips. Yeah. I had tulips too.
They're
Mary.
hybrids.
But those were a lot of fun to do. Especially I like these pods.
The pods, yeah. Very pretty.
And then this was my plein air with the rose bush, and I'm not too crazy about that. I put a fantasy plant in the planter because there was no plant in there.
That was a good idea because there wasn't really anything going on there, and you added variety when you put that spiky plant in
That's
there.
right.
That improved the composition, in my opinion.
Thank you. This I did. Here's the pear.
Oh,
A pear and 2 paintbrushes
oh, nice.
yesterday afternoon.
Very good.
And then I did this one yesterday afternoon, if I can turn the page, of a honeysuckle with one of these wedding flowers in the background.
Yeah, I'm not sure what those are called, but they're so interesting looking.
Yeah, that was really strange to do that. All those tiny flowers. But yeah. So, and then there's one that I didn't get. I was working on that this morning, just mapping it out.
Oh, nice.
And this was my practice this morning on clouds. And
Very nice. I like the perspective in the clouds, the bigger ones up high and the smaller ones down low.
thanks.
Very nice.
And I loved painting with wine. That was a lot of fun to do. I've never done that. And that was neat.
Yeah, I like you did a good job on the corkscrew. That was a really tough challenge to sketch out with like a pen and then just freehand and then throw in the wine.
And finally, there's my larger painting with the clouds. I'm still working on I'm still not happy with the landscape, but I'm pretty happy with the clouds, I think.
I think it's lovely. It's a very calm landscape, and I feel like it just kind of, you look at it and you feel tranquil when you see it.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for sharing your art. Now we have Jen from Jen Draws here on YouTube, so if you love her work, you can go check out her tutorials, and she does jewelry too, so drawing and jewelry. All right, she wishes not to have her face on camera, so she likes to keep, she's a big secret, she's a big mystery, this woman. So go ahead and tell us about your artwork.
Okay, I've never done watercolor before, but I decided to take a gamble and come on this trip. So this is my first ever real painting in watercolor.
Ooh, I can't believe that's first one. You have experience in other art, obviously.
Yeah, marker art.
Okay.
Marker art, alcohol markers. And definitely not flowers, very structured geometry with gemstones and jewelry.
You can kind of see that geometry when you look at the vase and even how you've arranged the petals around. It has a little bit of an angular feel to it.
This was an experiment in black and gray. It's obviously not finished. I have a lot of unfinished work.
Now tell us what that is, because we know what it looks like, but tell us what it actually is.
It's actually a lantern next to the path here that lights up at night. But when I got really down close and low to it, it looked like a UFO. And then I put the picture in black and white, and then I wanted to recreate that. So it looked like a 1950s UFO had landed.
You really
here in
got
France.
that. You got that look for sure.
This was the first sky studies.
Now, did you struggle with that at all,
Yes,
or was it pretty?
this was absolute struggle. This was the second one, and this was the third one. And this one, I do like the top half with the granulation. The rest, not so much. These are my poppies. They are very unfinished. They are only a sketch.
That's okay.
This one was for the plein air. I went a whole other different direction than everybody else.
I like it though. I like how you focused in on the plant pot and the rose vine.
Yes, and I did more of like just I did, as the package said, I did line and wash. So I did the lining first, and then I did the color.
Very pretty.
These were our sky studies from today.
Now I can really see the evolution from the previous sky studies to these. You feel much more, it looks much more natural. What do you think? Do you feel a little more comfortable with clouds?
Yes,
Oh, good.
definitely. Yes, especially, yes, definitely. These are way better than the first ones. That's it for the sketchbook.
Okay,
This is my wine one that I made.
nice.
I'm pretty happy with this one. I really like how I got the detail on the cork and the highlight in the bottle. And I used only wine and just layered it like 1,000 times before I
Wow.
got the darkness of this
Wow.
in here.
Wow, because yeah, the wine is not, it's red wine, but it does not stain paper
No,
like
this,
it would.
This is like
fabric.
one. This is one layer
Yeah.
here where it's light. That's
Nice.
just one wash.
That takes patience.
This was the from today. Mm-hmm. Very unfinished.
I like your clouds
But
though.
the clouds are
Yeah.
finished. That's it. The rest needs to be colored in still.
Very nice.
And then Lindsay wanted me to try out the paper that I bought, and I really wanted to sketch this, so I did this in like 20 minutes.
Nice. Did you like the paper?
Yes.
And the paints?
Yes.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes.
And I won't, like I said, I won't turn the camera up, but thank you so much for sharing your work.
Yes, no problem. It was
I-
great being here.
Nebraska.
Nebraska.
That's her nickname.
Yes, Nebraska.
We have a lot of nicknames around here. Now we have the lovely Vilma, who I think we could all agree is the life of the party. She is the life of the party of this operation. Would you like to share your work with us today?
Sure. It's not much, but I was just swatching.
Beautiful. Oh, I love that. You got such a delicate look in here with just like little smidgens of color just blushing out into the petal. Was that hard or was that pretty easy for you?
I take my time, petal by petal, and it's not, you can tell it's not done. It's just washes and washes. I thought it was supposed to look a little lighter than a lot of people I saw that were bold, and I said, no, I want it to be, okay, lighter. I cannot be that bold so fast. So yeah, I actually didn't finish the vase, as you can see, but there it is.
I think it looks finished to me. I would hate to lose any of that delicate, like, I don't know, softness that it has. It's so pretty.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
And then I tried to do the fountain, but obviously
Now that was a challenge, wasn't it?
it is, yeah.
Now, what's one of the challenges that can happen when you're working from a photograph?
When you're working from a photograph?
Because we worked from, well, you worked from a photograph on there, and
Yeah, I did. It's a challenge. It's the perspective. So the camera, takes the picture, and obviously the perspective here wasn't quite as it should, as
Yes.
it is. So
Yeah,
it's a challenge. Once you try to do it yourself, you have to go to the place, to the object that you're trying to paint, and do it. I think it's better from life.
Yeah, you did a great job compensating because with her photograph, it distorted it. It's like she was probably just above eye level, but it made this look super round, like comically round, and this area was narrow. And getting those ellipses right, getting ellipses right on a perfect photo is hard. Getting ellipses right on something that's been skewed by your camera is almost impossible, but you did a fabulous job with that.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm not used to working fast. This is, these are where the poppies, everybody's poppies are different.
Yeah, did you add pastel to that?
No.
Or? Oh, it almost has like a pastel look to it.
No,
Very nice. Were you happy with that one?
not really.
Really? Oh my gosh, we're so hard on our own work because that is beautiful.
No, it started a little lighter and more delicate, and I ruined it, so.
No, you didn't. It's beautiful. But it
So-
is bolder. Maybe that's what the colors help.
Yeah,
the colors bolder.
no, I don't. And then I really don't have much. These were the clouds, the practice of the clouds this morning.
Beautiful.
And then I try to do a landscape mostly with clouds
nice.
also, but I didn't get to finish it as well.
It looks good. It's so nice and loose though, and you got one of the little buildings in there. And I think you did a marvelous job. I think you got a lot done. You're saying you didn't have anything finished, but
Really, but thank you.
you're welcome.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your artwork with us and coming on the retreat
Oh, my pleasure.
and entertaining us all so much this week.
Good. I'm glad. My pleasure.
Hello, Conchi. How are you doing?
Good.
Have you had fun?
Lots of fun. I must say I was very intimidated the first day and I was ready to pack and leave.
Oh, no.
I did. I was like, I don't want to paint. I want to go to my room and do it. But now, after being here the entire retreat, I'm so glad I came and I want to do it again. So I hope you have another retreat.
Ooh, well, I've had so much fun, so.
So no, I'm very happy. Wonderful group of folks and beautiful venue. The trip was wonderful.
Oh, thank you so much. Would you share some of your work with us today?
I will try. I'm a very slow painter. I always think that I need to come up with a masterpiece, so I take my time, and sometimes I overwork it, like I think I did over here. But, you know, it's practice, practice, practice.
Oh, I think it's beautiful. You could definitely tell you that you put your time into it, but I don't think it looks overworked.
Okay, thank you. This
Ooh.
one,
Look at the depth in that window. You can put your hand right in it.
with your help, finally I got it. It was I was struggling with this depth, but yeah, with your help, it came out decent. I guess.
Oh, it looks beautiful.
This one was fun too, a bit overworked, but I like the town, the houses.
Now, how could you see that detail? That's so, that was the one way out in the field, right?
I open up the phone, you know,
You zoomed
zoom
in?
into, yes. And
Wow.
of course, the birds, I'm sure they were there somewhere.
I love the birds.
I
As
have to find them. Skies have to have birds, so
so pretty.
thank you. This one is still working on it. You showed us, did a demo, and I really like the colors that you use, so I'm going to work on it. Perhaps at the airport, I'm going to have almost a whole day of waiting.
Oh
in
my
Toulouse.
goodness.
So I will work on that now that I'm so inspired, because I had never done plein air, to tell you the truth.
Oh, wow.
In the south, it's too hot. In the mornings, I come out and it feels wonderful. It's like I'm going to get my stuff and come down here. 5 minutes later, it's humid already, so it's like forget it, I'm going indoors. So today, I really enjoyed plein air.
Oh,
I must
good.
say, I feel free and like I don't care what it comes out. It came out decent. Some of them, I
Yes.
mean, not these, I wasn't decent because it was just a study, but it made me feel better.
Good.
about it.
I'm so glad.
So, and this one, I just play with it as well.
Now, did you use like a spattering technique there?
I did
Very
quite a
nice.
bit, and again, perhaps a bit too work out, but again, just playing with it.
I like the reflection in the water.
Thank you. And I think that's it, other than the plein air. Oh, the wine. The wine. That one I had to finish it with my favorite technique, which is line and wash. I tried to stay away from the line on this trip because I feel like I always end up doing a line to define the drawing better. But anyway, that was my only one, I think. Yeah. And these were just the plein air.
Beautiful.
Fun.
Yeah. You really pushed yourself this week, didn't you?
I did. I'm always inspired now, ready to go home and play some more.
Oh, I'm so glad. And I'll take a quick look at these plein air. Oh, I love the texture in that tree. The skies. You're getting so good at skies. And weren't those hills hard? I thought those hills were really hard to paint out there.
They seem quite simple, but boy,
Yeah.
I really have to work on those because they all look like a kitty did it, and
Oh,
I
no.
need to give it some depth. And they're not all those trees at the same height.
They're very hilly. Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to go back and touch it up.
Did you take photos so you have plenty to work
I
on?
do, I
Oh,
do. I
good.
definitely have to put some birds on those.
Oh, yes, yes.
Because we did see some birds. Where's my bird? Mary.
So many birds.
If we could not find any birds, we sat here in the venue. I finally we saw a few.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for sharing your art.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Well, we have had an amazing time. Their artwork is incredible. It's been so wonderful to spend the week with these wonderful women. And before we go, they have got something they would like to say to you. Ladies, what time is it? It's